Hello everyone. In this lesson, we're going to look at another example of GET request. The recent album component, we show some of the recent albums, and then if we click to go to the album, here the user expect to see the photos in that album. So let's go ahead and build that. So this request is going to the album details component. So let's open the album details component. So currently the album details component does not have any dependency to the album service, but we will need the album service to pull the photos from that album. So let's create a dependency to the album service. Private album service colon album service. And now once we have that dependency, we need to have a method in the album service to get all the photos for a particular album. So let's open the album service, and then here currently we have get all albums. So similarly, let's write a method for get photos from an album. So the parameter for this will be album ID, and the functionality within this method should be very similar to getting all the albums, similar to that. It's just that the path will be different. So instead of album/all, it will be, let's see from the Explorer, that for getting photos, we need to call album/id/photos, album/id/photos. And the ID is actually a path variable. So what we need to do here is album/id/photos, where this ID is dynamically going to be changed, and you can use a string concatenation for that, like this, plus, and here this album ID will come, and this way we can get all the photos for this. Now from the album details component, we can, once we have the album ID, here we can actually call this dot album service dot get photos, and here we can pass this dot album ID, and this will actually return an observable, so we can subscribe to that. And what we'll get from that are going to be some photos, so we can call them photos, and when we get that back, we need to store it somewhere in this class. So let's have a class variable photos, and the data type for this is going to be photo, array of photo. So when we get the photos back, we can assign that to these dot photos equals to photos, and it's going to complain about the data type. So we should just typecast this to array of photo. And once we have that, let's see that we got all the photos. Go photos for this album. These dot photos. And now let's go ahead and see that in action. It's complaining about the syntax of subscribe in album details component, line 23. So a subscribe should be actually like this. It starts like this, and at the end it will end like this. So if we go to albums, recent albums, and then from there if we go to one of the album, and if we go to console, see that got photos for this album, and we have 3 photos here. Now we need to show those photos. So for that we can use very similar layout as these recent albums. So let's go ahead to the recent album component, and let's take that example and apply that in album details component. Photos in this album, and this is going to loop through all the photos. And the image will be if we see here in the photos, we get a photo URL and a thumbnail URL. So we can use that, either the photo URL or the thumbnail URL. So let's use the thumbnail URL. Photo dot thumbnail URL, and here we don't have any title for the photo. So instead what we can do is we can use the created by. So photo dot created by, and then here we have a go to album. So instead it will be go to photo. So the path for that we can take a look at from the routing module. So for a photo details, we have photo : photo ID. So we can use that. So here it will be photo / photo.id. So now if we go to recent albums, From here we can go to album, and that is showing us each of the picture in that album as well as who uploaded that picture. And then from here we can go to the details of that picture, and it's taking us to the details component. We need to implement the functionality to show the picture here. Thank you.